Do you have to turn it on?
It's already on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you just gotta talk. You gotta talk like right into it.
Oh,
and you
right
are
there. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Thanks for coming by.
Thanks for having me. How's your day been?
It's been pretty good. I went to Dunkin' Donuts.
Hey, that's good.
Yeah, that's pretty much all that I did.
Today?
Yeah, I went to Dunkin' Donuts and then I bought some liquor.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I wasn't doing anything. I just had the day off.
Hey, that's sweet. That's sweet.
How was your day?
Pretty manageable. I went to the gym. Then because I'm working, I typically would work out, and right now I'm starting to take it pretty seriously than like I used to
working
take
out.
it. Yeah. And then afterwards I went to work and then worked on a couple of things, and now I'm here.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've worked out sometimes in my life. I've been there. I've been to the gym. It's not like a regular thing that I end up doing. I wish that I did.
Well,
ultimately,
you just gotta put your mind to it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And my mind is just like not invested in it enough for some. I don't know if I'll ever get there. That's the thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know if it'll ever be a priority enough for me that I'll be like, I'm a person who works out. Hopefully at some point, if my life was like really going well, then that would be happening. I feel like
that's true.
Like if I got everything in order, that's definitely, at least you see like the most successful people, I feel like they're always say that they're going to the gym.
You gotta go in order to be successful. I'm kidding.
That could be it.
I know, right?
The gym is the secret to their success.
I know, right? Maybe
that's where it begins.
Exactly. So
could be.
Well, right now I go to like a non-denomination church.
Okay.
Because my thing with religion is like, I mean, there are different types of religions out there. Like, no matter whatever you believe in and stuff like that, and they do have different beliefs in each religion. So like some religions will have this like rules and all of that, and like many rules.
Interesting that there are so many of them.
Exactly. And my thing is basically like example, like I got invited to a Mormon church, and when I went in there, like I had seen like different stuff than like I would typically do, and do like they, like an example, when they got offerings, like a typical church that I've been to will have like, so drinking, not offerings but drinking the Holy Communion basically. So the most churches will have like juices. Yeah. For the Mormons, they will have water and bread, which was very different to me. So that was like my first experiencing that one. And then they will like sing in songs. And then,
I didn't know that they drank water instead of like grape juice or wine or anything.
Yeah, that was like my first time. And then and also they believe in God also, and plus also like I'm not sure because I don't want to get into like that stuff, like also, and all, but
you don't want to get into Mormonism, like, you know.
Yeah, I mean, like I don't want to get it due to the fact that I've just had like I've researched vaguely about it. Yeah. So if I'm wrong, I don't want to say something that can.
They
be
believe
wrong,
a lot of funny things.
Yeah,
is what I understand about it, and they've got like an extra, like they do the Bible, but they do the Book of Mormon. Yeah, they do. I think the Book of Mormon is like their main book.
It's different one, because they also believe in. I think if I'm not sure about the first name. I think it's Jason, but I think it's something Smith.
Joseph Smith.
Yeah, Joseph Smith. Yeah, from like New York.
I think he wrote the Book of Mormon.
Yeah.
So were you interested in Mormonism when you went? You're like, oh, this is cool.
They invited me, but I looked at it. I'm like, yeah, this is not something I'm interested in. To be honest with you, which was pretty good.
Like,
The people were pretty good
like
and all of that. But yeah, so and my thing is like,
what's
even though they're like
the
different
name
religions,
of the church you go to?
It's called 514 Church.
514, okay.
Yeah, 514.
It's like
Church,
that goes along with
church.
something that would, like a non-denominational religion, because they don't have like Methodist Church in the name.
Because I also go, because also one of my other friends invited me to go to his church, and it's a Baptist church, which is
okay, yeah.
which is,
there's a lot of Baptists that became non-denominational because at some point it became a little bit like stigmatized, maybe just a little, like Baptists, because people are like, oh, Baptists are too hardcore, and so a lot of Baptists became like non-denominational.
I mean, that's true, but my thing is like, even though there are like 1,000 religions out there, I will say my faith is not based on like religion, but it's based on my relationship between me and God, and that's
you and God, or you and Jesus?
Me and Jesus.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's basically based on like thou both. So
yeah, the
that
Trinity.
way, yeah. So that
way,
way,
like have the Holy Spirit. Okay.
Yeah.
I used to have that.
Okay.
For a while. I don't know if like he technically could still be there, I guess, or whatever. It's like you get saved once, you're like saved forever or whatever it is. But
I mean,
like I used to when I was younger, and then I also started questioning my faith, and when I started questioning it, I thought that I would like return to it, but then I just kind of like kept questioning it, and then I got out of it. Like I ended up not going to church anymore at some point, which is I mean, that's just like a what's the opposite of a success story? That's like a failure story of the Christian church.
True, but I mean, it's not really like that due to the fact that, again, everybody has their own like journey in life, and you kind of have to figure out where you fit in and where you don't fit in, you know. So, and like it's basically a battle between you and like,
yeah, it's not over either. I could return to it one day.
Yeah. So
not over. Yeah.
So my thing is like, whenever you decide or whenever like you feel like something, then you can. Because mine took a long time too to like return back to it. It took a while, because before I kind of, again, like back with the rules thing, I think that's when it began, where we went to this church where I would go to this church, and I think they would say different things, and I felt as though, and plus also I felt like in my heart, I felt like this is not such a welcoming place, I guess. So my thing was like, okay, maybe I'll need to take a step back, and that's when like everything just so that's when I started like questioning and everything. But then eventually, again, I did, and then my thing was mostly, I first started like praying a lot. And then within like a year or so, like I just started feeling a push to go back to church. So like I kind of looked around.
I think that prayer does work.
So I looked around and saw that the 514, it was like right there. So I went, and I mean, it's been pretty good.
Is that like a big church?
I mean, it's a lot of seats, and people do come a lot. So I have no idea.
It's a big one.
Sort of. Okay. So I don't know.
Multiple services.
They have two services. One starts at 9, and then the other one starts at 11.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Do you feel like you want to find a role within the church, or you're like, I want to pursue music or something like that, or something else?
As for that one, like my thing, I already already know what I want to pursue. So it's basically like so in entertainment, so basically comedy, which I'm doing, and also acting too, which I started doing in high school. And so I took a 1 year break, and now I'm back into acting again.
Do you ever do improv?
No, I haven't thrown my shoes into that one.
Oh, okay, you might like that. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like in between comedy and acting.
Oh, really?
Sort of. Okay. I feel like, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, I haven't tried it, but hey, I'm open to that one. And plus also, so because I've done mostly theatrical plays, so this coming weekend I'll be doing an independent film. So
cool.
I am excited about that one.
What role are you playing?
I forgot. I forgot, but
you're somebody in the film though.
Yes, I know. I'm playing, and I have
like a couple
4 lines. Yeah, 4 lines.
Okay.
Like towards the end. So
when is that coming up that they're shooting it?
Saturday night and Sunday afternoon.
So you're just gonna like look at it the night before.
I have a week to look at it. Because I looked at it. I did look at it before.
I feel like that's what I would do also.
I did look at it before, because my thing is like, if I had many lines, then I'll start memorizing like a long time ago. But since I have like shorter lines and stuff, then it depends, because my memory, like after 2 to 3 days, so like Tuesday, Wednesday, so not tonight, but Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I'll look at it, memorize the lines and where I'm supposed to come in, and then Saturday when I go in, I'll have to like be prepared and just make the best of it. So and plus also like my thing is like, because I do read like my Bible a lot, so I'm reading like the book of Acts, and something that I've realized mostly about that book was about Paul, basically. And so what he did was basically like, he could have given up his faith, in the sense that how he got treated after he went to like I forgot what the place was, but he went to a place and he was preaching, because he used to go to places and preach, and he went to this particular area which I now have forgotten, but it was basically after he preached, people thought that he was changing like the laws to believe in so Saul so people thought that he was changing their specified laws into something else, so they wanted him to get arrested, and as he got arrested, he basically got taken out of the prison and shipped to another prison, due to the fact that people are plotting to kill him and say like mean stuff about him. But then each time he went to the judge, people will say like, I have no basis in like taking this man's life, because he hasn't committed anything, and he spoke very badly, which I like it. And so he then like proceeded on like continuing on working with Jesus, even after like everything had happened to him, like going to prison, coming out of prison, like doing like every single thing. Like he stood by God, which is when I read that one, I will typically be like, man, like even the people like from the Bible went through like challenges and did not blame God, but like stood on the challenges and prevailing on the challenges, knowing that God is gonna bring them out of it. So that one was like the most thing I read, and it was pretty much, it was actually amazing, and I was like,
do you seek to apply any of that in comedy then, or like you aim to be a Christian comedian?
I try not to say like cuss words or something like that one, because again, I don't like, because me continuing on building my faith.
But you're not like I'm a Christian comedian. You're just more like I'm a comedian who's also.
Because I mean, also I'm a comedian who's also a Christian. Because I feel like I can do like Christian comedy, which I have written, but I don't know, like
That can
right
be
now
funny.
I am battling with like in the sense of like I don't wanna mock about something also, but also like I wanna make it into a funny way, in a way people can get it together, and it will be funny than like mocking or pointing fingers or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. So you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
so you, like maybe you don't like criticism of things?
I wouldn't. I would. It's not like I don't like it. It's just that
Mocking.
basically, like reading the Bible, like so.
Like what kinds of things do you not want to ridicule? Or you're like, that just sounds like I'm mocking
So
this.
it's yeah. So sometimes like I can say something like funny or whatever, but also I would also end up. I don't wanna just like I've seen. So like an example is I've seen a lot of like a couple like comedians making fun of like the Bible and stuff like that, which does not really end up, which never goes well for them.
Okay.
So my thing is like, if unless I have something like funny written out and I know that this can be funny and I can play with it and it will not be like a mockery or like
Yeah,
me
you don't want
saying
to mock Christianity.
yeah, then I can
Yeah.
say it, but but if
So you
it's
don't- you don't
something
wanna mock
to do,
Christianity is what you're
it's
saying.
basically like
Okay.
staying away
Is
from
there
it.
is there
It's
something
just
outside
like,
of Christianity that you wouldn't want to mock?
I mean, technically, I wouldn't want to mock anything, especially when it comes to religion, because again, everybody has different beliefs,
Okay.
and as much as I would like to, like, as much as I can mock something, I don't like making fun of something that I am not 100% sure, like of
Okay.
other religions. Like other religions, I cannot make fun of, because again, I am not.
But
sure,
outside of
but-
religion, you're cool with like making fun of whatever. Would you say?
I'm making fun, just like finding facts and talking about it. But yeah, it's not like making fun of. It's just like funny things that happen to different places or different things or different people.
Do you have a joke that you've been working on recently that you would want to share?
A joke I've been working on recently. Oh yeah, this one was okay. So it's I haven't gotten to like the like laughter of it, but like I'm working on the premise of it
Yeah.
in the sense that so like it's about my tribe and people like in America, where like an example like black people will define rich, like some black people, not all, some black people will define being rich as like showing luxury cars or jewelries or some stuff like that one.
Okay.
Like expensive stuff. But so it's basically to flaunt money and show how rich they are. But in my tribe, to showcase how rich you are, you're supposed to like it's basically by using cows, sheep, and like goats and like, many stuff like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
So that's like something
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
working to like make
Yeah.
getting the funny part out of it. So
Yeah.
like people go
That
to the
sounds
extent
funny.
of like making
The goats,
naming
like
like
Rolls
white names
Royces
or whatever,
versus
you know,
goats.
right? Like
Yeah.
this cow
What's
can
the equivalent of
milk.
like your Rolex? Like what's a Rollie for
Oh,
the tribe
man.
that you came from?
Like my tribe is basically like an equivalent. They will typically need 20 cows or 15 sheep or something like that in order to consider it as like being rich. So if you have like 15 plus cows or 15 plus sheep or goats or something like that,
Yeah.
that's like
that'll
you're
do it.
right there. I know. And
Yeah.
then people will be like, this is for like milk, this is for grazing.
Yeah. Is it just like the more goats, the better?
Yep.
It's like 100
More
goats here.
the better. Yep. So
You're okay. Like really rolling in it in
like
style.
that.
If you have like 100 cows or whatever, they do cows.
We have cows. We do. We have a lot of cows too.
In the tribe that you came from? Like what kind of cow?
So,
Or
like-
like what do they call that cow?
Oh, white people names.
Okay.
They call it so like
They're like, we have these cows, but they don't call it cows in Africa. What country do you hail from?
oh, Kenya.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, we call them cows. We call them cows, but we just call them like in Swahili we call them ng'ombe.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Ng'ombe. So,
That's just like the word for cow.
yeah, that's basically so. And yeah,
Were
even
you
in
born
my
in
even
Kenya?
in my tribe too, we call it ng'ombe. I was born in Kenya.
Okay.
So yeah, I was born there, and then I lived there for 14 years before we moved here. So
Okay.
yeah.
You moved to Columbus.
No, at first when we came here, we moved to, this town called Mount Vernon, Ohio.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's in the outskirts of Columbus. So
Okay.
basically, it's like a 45-minute drive from Columbus. So, but I grew.
Lived there for a while.
I lived there for like 2 years, and then we moved here to Westville, and that's when like we resided basically.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's so that's why sometimes we can talk about there. And
So
sometimes
how long
talk
have you
about
lived in
here.
Columbus?
In total, I've lived for about 10 years now. So
Okay.
yeah.
Did you like the move and like that process?
Like process.
Did you enjoy it?
Coming to America, I enjoyed it. It was
Okay.
it was basically like feeling like Eddie Murphy and the cast and crew for that movie. I was like, so this is it. But then we came to
this is the
Ohio.
real thing, yeah.
But
then you're
then
in Columbus.
I did not. The thing that I had to get adjusted to was like the snow. Basically, I did not. I was excited to see because this was like my first time and not seeing it in Home Alone movie. So like seeing it for the first time, I was like ecstatic. So I was like, oh, this is real. And then exactly.
Getting to see snow.
But then it like affected my skin and I started having rashes and I'm like, I am not liking this. So now like there's also the cold that it comes with. I don't like.
You get rashes from the snow?
In the beginning I used to. Like in
Okay,
the first year
interesting.
I like the first
It's like
time I came.
it's like a disease or something
I know,
that
right?
like you had to
Like
adapt to.
my skin wasn't adapted to this, and then I got the rashes, and then it
snow
basically
disease
went. I know, right?
That you got. You built up a tolerance for it now.
I know. It took a couple months after like the first snow. That's when I did, and then the second snow I did not have anything whatsoever. So I'm like, okay,
Then you beat snow.
I know, right? And
defeated that, moved past it.
even after 10 years, I'm not adjusted to this cold. I am not. This is now my chapel weather. Like I would rather be in a warmer place than like here. And
yeah, the cold really just kind of sucks, especially when it first starts to get cold, and then you like sit in a car for the first day that it's really cold, and then like the leather seat or whatever. You're like, oh,
exactly.
You're like, oh shit, it's about to be winter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
do you ever think about moving somewhere warmer?
I do.
Yeah.
So I'm working right now to move and to retire somewhere warm.
Yeah, you're about to retire.
Nah,
You mean just like
right
move?
now. Just when I'm about to retire. I think.
Oh, okay. So you might stay here for a while.
I mean,
But it'd be cool
if
to
I want
move
to
to
move
Florida.
to like a warmer place, it might be either Texas because it's cheaper, and also,
You think about moving to Austin?
I haven't decided yet.
Because they have like a big comedy scene.
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah.
True. Maybe, you know, I don't want to say never, but I don't know.
Yeah, like Texas might be too hot, but if
I mean,
you hate the cold,
I enjoy the hot. I really enjoy the hot.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed the hot because I was like born in a hot country.
Yeah.
But the most.
How hot is it in Kenya?
It's pretty. It's they use Celsius, so like it mostly will be like 98 degrees over there.
98 degrees.
Yeah, it's gonna be like 98 degrees.
Like all hot, like half the year.
So it will typically be. Let me see. So in December, the temperatures will come down to like 60 degrees, which over there they say Celsius, but I cannot. My brain right now is not trying to convert it.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
I don't know.
People know Fahrenheit anyway.
Yeah. So it will be like 60 degrees Fahrenheit, and that's the coldest it can get.
Okay.
That's like November, December, but then in January, like it will start to warm up, but then by March, April, all the way to October, December, it's gonna be pretty warm, and then in between it's gonna be like rainy season too. So
okay.
So it goes warm and the coldest.
How rainy is the rainy season? It's like really rainy.
Sometimes it does rain. So
does it flood?
Like, oh yeah.
Like it's dangerous.
Like flooding. I mean, as long as you're in your house, you're good. But because a lot of people in Kenya have houses built like stone houses, so like the flood, it's gonna be hard for the flood to get in to like break the house or to like take away the house. And like here where most people have like wooden house, and sometimes depending on what area you live in, like the flood can come and carry your house with all your belongings in. So but like when it floods, most times people just get told to do things carefully, like don't go crossing on a river if you don't know how to swim, or if you're feeling pretty scared.
How close were you to like lions? Like was that an issue at all for where you lived?
It wasn't an issue like that much, because like lions were kept in like, I don't want to say, because a zoo over here it's differently than a zoo over there. So but they were kept
like preserved
in it's called it's a wildlife basically, in a national national wildlife.
So they like locked up all the lions?
They would, but they will have also like a bigger cages to roam around in, and also.
So they're all in an enclosed space, like in the area near you.
And plus, if they escape, like the most popular wildlife is in the middle of the city, which sometimes I've heard about like a case of like a lion escaping and like going into the human population. So it's gonna be, but they have like GPS on them, so they can track them to like bring them before it causes any harm or stuff like that.
They just got all the lions on lockdown.
But also, so like that's like Nairobi city and like places that are populated. But if you go like out in the so basically like the outskirts of Nairobi, then you might be able to like come to close contact with the lion, because even like.
So you were in Nairobi?
Yeah, I lived like 20, like, so basically I lived like, let's say an example, like Westerville to Nairobi, so it was like a 20 minutes away in Nairobi.
Like right in the metro area of Nairobi.
But the first time I saw like a lion was a time where we had gone outside so like my dad had took us to like an outskirts place, and it was basically people who, so there was this like tribe that mostly the people who kind of lived there in that area, in that general area, were like Maasai tribe. And so, but no, this was the restaurant. It was pretty good. So it was a restaurant together with like gaming things outside. So like basically like a restaurant, and outside was like sort of a park area to play. And so, as my dad was in the restaurant, like all the kids had gone. We had gone like outside the restaurant to play in that park, and like literally like away where there was like a forest. There was this lion that was just like laying down there watching us like play around, and so we had to go in before we became the lion's dinner or lunch or whatever. So but like also,
so that was a wild lion.
Like a literally wild lion. So but because even if like mostly Nairobi, like you wouldn't find, but if you go out in the
does Nairobi have any tall buildings?
Yeah, they do. They have like tall buildings. Yeah, they do. So, but if you go in the outskirts,
do you know how tall?
Not a clue. I'm not gonna.
But they have like a skyline. Does the skyline look like Columbus's?
They do. They do have tall buildings. It depends on.
Were they taller than Columbus's? Or like the same?
Some
height?
of them.
Okay.
Some of them were.
Because Nairobi is a bigger city than Columbus, right?
Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah. Okay.
It is. But if you go to like outside in the outskirts, because I know like again like circling back to the Maasai tribe, that one will be. I thought that they have like wildlife animals that come around, so like people have to be careful.
Yeah.
And I've had like
hippos are the most dangerous, is what I hear.
Lions,
they like kill the most people.
Yeah, true. But like lions are.
Gotta watch out for lions.
At most, because I've had like I've seen
documentaries
to deal with
too. You run into a lion.
Unless you're like, because so like again, this circles again to the Maasai tribe, where I've had like, if you do live in the outskirts, most youth. Some lions are scared of the youths in the Maasai tribe because like they're taught how to fight a lion.
Okay.
So it's a pretty
hardcore.
I know. So
is that like an initiation thing? Like they have to fight a lion in order to be part of the tribe officially or something like that? Or they just do it for fun?
they do it because like there's a lot of my opinion will be they do it because they want, because if the lions disturb you and that's the place that you reside in,
they get the
whatever,
kids to do it.
They do it's basically like a dominion, I guess, sort of like that one where it's like who's boss. It's either me or you, and I am not going down with that fight. The lions basically
like people.
So sometimes when like they see humans, like the lions will like escape to go back to like their caves or something like that, but like or to go like back to like where they merged from.
Were you a Christian there in Kenya?
That was where I grew up. So like mostly the most religion in Kenya was like Christianity was like
that's
the number
the biggest
one
religion there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Muslim was like folling it, and then Hinduism was like the third one.
Okay.
And
I didn't know that. That Christianity was like number one there. Because it's like North Africa is more Muslim, right?
Most African countries, Christianity is like the number one like religion Muslim. Over there. Yeah, because I had no idea too. When I thought that there were those three religions until I got here, and I heard about an atheist, and I had to go like research on like, wait, what does it mean? And I'm like, oh really? Like,
are there more religions here or in Kenya? Like more
I will
options?
say like religions are more here, cause
Okay.
like here's where I learned of like different stuff, and plus, like in Kenya, like I know for sure there's some people who are atheists, but they may not come out publicly saying that I'm an atheist, cause again, like
there's not as much
they
freedom
have-
of religion there, probably.
it's not like much freedom, but people around you will look at
They'll
you
attack you
differently.
if you say
They
you're an
will like
atheist, maybe.
they will look
it's
at you
not socially
differently, and
acceptable.
yeah, it's not like it's not that much socially acceptable. Like there are many things that are not like sexually acceptable or something like that. So
Do you know about Mansa Musa?
I do. I read about him. So
Yeah, he reminds me of the joke that you're talking about between the people having goats and then
Oh yeah.
people over here having like a bunch of rich stuff.
Exactly. So
Yeah, because he did like he's
give
like
out,
the
like,
richest
gold.
guy
Yeah.
in history or something.
Yeah, he gave out. He was the one who made gold to go worthless until
He's really interesting.
So
Because he's like he did it all on a pilgrimage to Mecca because it was like really cool and popular to be Muslim amongst everybody, and he's like, I'm gonna do this big public thing, which are like people. I mean, it was like the 1400s or something.
Oh yeah.
And people still like talk about it so much today. I think that it's like it's interesting even just to reference him because he was like that interesting, that like famous, and that
That's true.
whatever, like so much money and swag and all of that, like style. Like it's interesting to reference him now just because he was into so much money or whatever, like gold.
I mean that's no, that's true. That's true because again I read about him too, and because I used to do like when Bill Gates was considered to be one of the richest people in the world at that point. I went to the internet and Googled who was like the richest person, and I came across the Mansa Musa, and I'm like, oh wow. So and then he
He was like the
about him.
Kardashians.
I know, right?
Because he was into all of that fame and like public image and stuff. Like he's a genius because he understood that back then. It's
Exactly.
and that's something that we make such a big deal out of today. It's just like
But I mean, yeah, money is like a lot. Money will definitely do a lot of things.
he's more like
But
Kanye
also,
West
I know,
probably
right?
than the Kardashians. Just because Kanye West is a little more like relevant than the Kardashians are right now or whatever.
But also like Kanye, he apparently I've heard, I'm not sure again, but I've heard that he has like different episodes of like outbursts. Sometimes he might say something differently than the next time what you will say, or like showing up in different
He's like schizophrenic.
ways. I guess so.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I feel like a way you could describe that, because he could be like a different person year to year.
That's true. So
Yeah.
oh man.
Yeah. What would you say like your comedic style is?
My comedic style will typically, it's kind of like a different things. So mostly, so right now, like last year I wanted to work on improving my comedy, which I did, because from like starting in the beginning, like me watching my clips from the beginning till like right now, it's like definitely improved. So right now I want to continue to improve. So I figured out since like I started, like I'm more of a storyteller than like a one punchline person or whatever. And so I just kind of like in general talking about like the experiences I've had and what other experiences I can have, and talking about the differentialities between here and like an example Kenya or some other places too. So mostly like in African continents, but then also I want this year to like kind of venture outside to see what other things.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
you can
create comedy in every aspect of
Yeah.
like whatever. So my thing is like I like watching other comedians too.
Yeah.
And seeing how they do it. So like my thing also like right now, I wanna learn, which I've done a couple times. Like one of my favorite comedians to watch might be Gabriel Iglesias or Gabriel, whatever how you say his name, Gabriel or Gabriel Iglesias.
Yeah.
But because he uses sometimes he uses like Spanish and English. And so since I know Swahili, I will typically want to use Swahili and English at the same time to kind of mix and match together. And so I'll do that one and then just talk about.
That's pretty dope that everything. You know Swahili.
So I don't know. I was raised. Those were like the most. So that was like the most. It's the most popular languages in Kenya, which you are required to learn both Swahili and English. So like there's Swahili, English, and then the tribal languages. So like for me, my culture is Korea, but going to school, it's going to be both. You're gonna have to learn both Swahili and English, and you're gonna be tested on them every single time. Like it's just like in America where you get tested on like your English. Yeah. Something like that. Yeah. So you're gonna get tested over there in both Swahili and English, and you have to know them, otherwise you're gonna suffer the consequences. So
yeah, you can like talk about that you're from Kenya originally, like you could work that into your comedy for a long time. I feel like like you could play on that angle. True, because there's a lot of people that do that, and like there's a bunch of people from Canada even that just use Canada, but they don't even but they like don't mention it necessarily that they're from Canada. True. I feel like there's a lot of famous people from Canada that cross over to America. They become famous over here. And it's kind of like their thing is like they're from Canada, but they don't tell anybody that. Or like
true. My thing is like also because I say this one once on a joke, but it did not go over as I had expected. So it basically bombed. But
what joke?
So the joke was like with my accent. Mostly, so with my accent, sometimes people would hear of, because sometimes my accent comes out, and so people will definitely hear my like the accent I'm talking with, and so they would basically ask me, or they would assume that I'm from Jamaica. And at first, like, I used to correct people, but then these days I'm like, if you do not ask me, if you do not ask me or anything like that, then yeah, I'm Jamaican, you know. But then and then some other people, like I think there were also like people there were also people who confused me to be like a Somalian. Which again, I like they're similar things, but like so I asked like
we're
also
afraid of
my
Somalia
friend
because of the pirates.
I'm not afraid of Somalia or anything. But yeah, no, I'm not afraid of Somalia. But like my thing is like there's a difference between a Somalia and a Kenyan, and even though like sometimes we have similar characteristics, there's like a whole differently from like a Somalian, because I also like I have a Somalian friend, and I told him about it, and he's like, you don't look like a Somalian, but I'm like, somebody from Somalia also told me that I look that I look. So like sometimes people will come and try to speak with me in Somali, and I'm like,
Yeah,
I
okay.
have no clue what you're talking about, but
Yeah.
if you know
You're like,
Swahili,
screw off.
I can talk
Yeah.
about it, but
Uh-huh.
then like eventually they will know like, yeah, I have no clue on what they're saying, so they will just like either speak. Some people will know Swahili, so we can speak in Swahili, but then some people will just come back to English. So, which is a pretty cool language, but I'm not gonna. I
It's
feel
pretty
right
cool,
now.
that language. But
Yeah.
which
I'm
do you
not-
like better? Swahili or English?
It depends. So, like,
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up with both of them, so I'm like,
Which
there's
one is
nothing-
cooler?
I will say my mother tongue. Like, well, technically it depends. It depends. So Swahili, it's pretty good because I mean, again, like, it's a language I can brag. Hey, I know Swahili.
Uh-huh.
Like about and like some people, but then because English is like most people in the most countries in the world do speak English, and people
Yeah.
learn English, so it's like, yeah, it's a basic, but then
nice to
Swahili
know
is
it.
like yeah, but Swahili it's like in a specific
Yeah.
areas
It's
in
good to
some
have
countries
both.
in yeah.
Yeah.
So that one is
What's like your favorite thing about America?
more opportunities. There are more opportunities here than like back home or something like that. There are way more opportunities.
Yeah. Lots of things
and,
that you could be. Yeah.
a lot of things too, cause and also in America it's like most times people do, like, not most times, but like a lot of times people have freedom to like express like how they feel, like what they
The
do,
freedom.
or like, yeah, basically, yeah, the freedom to identify
Yeah, the
as who they
freedom's
want to
good.
do, but
Is
then if you go
there-
to other countries, it's you have limited freedom, and if you don't know that one, then it may be hard. So yeah.
Yeah. For sure. That's gotta be nice to go from like limited freedom to like all the freedom.
Unlimited. I know.
Do you like the food better?
Oh no. I mean,
Okay.
it's
So you're like used to the food in Kenya. You would say
sometimes
food in Kenya is better.
because yeah. I mean, it's not like food in, like, I feel like, again, this is my personal opinion, but I feel as though once you travel like outside America to other countries, not specifically, not like Kenya alone, but also like I went to Canada.
It almost sounds like
last
Kenya.
year.
Canada.
I know, right? I went to Canada, and it was the most, like, the food over there was way much, like, was like, there were similarities to American food, but also I basically would love like other countries' food,
Yeah.
due to the fact that they are not processed as
Yeah,
much,
okay.
because I feel like American foods are processed. and
Yeah.
that's why I
Yeah,
try to
interesting.
pick and eat.
Yeah.
But then, like, when you go outside American to other countries, it's the food over there is basically natural. So, and I've
Yeah.
tasted both natural
So,
and
like,
processed,
Canada
and
is a
I
little bit
enjoy.
more natural.
Yeah. So, and also like
can
in
see
Kenya
that.
too, because like an example was I used to drink sodas a lot, but then like it will affect my teeth, and I'll go to the
Uh-huh.
dentist and they'll tell me, don't drink sodas, don't drink
Yeah.
like any type of stuff. But
Yeah.
I wouldn't listen until like sometime I did like stop, because I felt like as though my teeth were about to like come off. And I did not want to walk being like I did not want
Right.
to I did not want to do that one. So
So the food was
so when we went back to Kenya to visit, I knew that I was gonna get the, like, so mostly sometimes also in my culture it's people would invite you with like soda, and I did not want to drink soda completely because I was shaken off from like the sugar that was like added sugar from here. But then when I went over there, the soda pretty much tasted like close to tasteless. Like the sugar, there was like way less.
They
sugar,
use real sugar,
basically.
maybe. They use like cane sugar.
But they don't also like put that much sugar in it. So it was like, if you drink,
there's a lot of sugar in soda.
Yes. Over here, there's a lot of sugar. But over there, there's...
It would make sense if they did less of it.
Yeah. So it was like less sugar over there, and I like enjoyed it, and I'm like, this is something I can stand with. MIT did not shake.
So like the food in other countries is more authentic. It seems like it's like less a factory or something,
which
influenced it. That's
which I mean, I think like again here where you try to buy, it's not like everything, but like I feel like here, if you buy unprocessed foods, they're way expensive than processed foods. Yes, but
they have that option, but it's like a specialty option, and you gotta pay extra for it.
Exactly. But then there, since the food is natural, you don't need to pay any extra or anything like that, because it just comes. And
do you think that comes through in America in other ways? The food, like processed food.
Like, what do you mean? Like, comes out?
Like, is America like a processed country, or where it's like there might be something superficial about the way that they do a lot of things, or like they say no to authenticity, or put authenticity not a priority.
I mean, true. Which again, if it's a type of culture, that's okay.
Is America a processed culture?
I'm not saying that. No, I mean, see, it's mostly like based on process. Like most foods are processed in America, which again, I don't typically would enjoy like processed foods. So like that's why like I cut out most of the stuff also in my diet. But like I'm not saying that I never do eat it, but I try to avoid as much as I can avoid it.
Yeah.
Which again.
What's your favorite fast food? Chick-fil-A?
Oof. I'll say that one. I'll say Chick-fil-A, because when we came
That's
here,
a really good one.
Because when we came like to the US, I wanted to eat. I used to like look at Wendy's, and I had never had Wendy's. Till like I looked at it, and I told my brothers one time as we were driving back home, I was like, hey, that's the place I want to try it out. And then like a year later I tried it out, and it was like most amazing magical thing.
Oh wow.
And then I continued eating until like right now I'm like, I'm done now. Like the satisfaction is there. And also like McDonald's, So and plus also something here that's like different in other, like especially like in Kenya too, is fast food. Because see, like fast foods over here, you just say, oh, it's fast, it's already ready and stuff like that. But if you go like back to like Kenya and stuff like that, they treat fast food as a luxury basically. Like so they would like an example, KFC. You're like, if you go to KFC, you'll see it as a normal day, like nothing changed or whatever. Over there, KFC is treated in a way that it's like if you have KFC money, you're gonna post it on Snapchat, Instagram, like it's like the most like like I have this, like I've reached to this level and whatever. So it's like it's taken so seriously. So even. So I never had KFC, but then like one of my childhood friends had KFC, and he came to school like one time, and he was like, "Man, I had the KFC, never had it." So I was like, "Yeah, I did too, but I've never had it till I got here, and I'm like, oh, this is it." And then now like looking back, which is pretty good. Like, hey, everybody has experiences, which I had experiences, but then like being in America for this long, I'm like, okay, KFC is just another food too. So, but then back home they will, and plus also, like right now they're starting to come out with much more like fast food places. But not that much. So like fast food places, you'll only find them like in a mall or in airports and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But anything like outside that one, like I know like in America, people can only go like 5 minutes down the road, find a fast food, buy food and stuff like that. But in Kenya, it's like treated as a national monument. So if you go to like the fast food or whatever,
and then you get over here and they just got like everything.
I know like every single thing like goes down the road. So like in Kenya, you gotta go to like specific areas to get like, the fast food.
Wendy's is pretty good. I like Wendy's a lot.
I know, right? And plus also, it depends because also like that's in Nairobi. But if you go like back to the village, then you're not gonna find anything like KFC or McDonald's or anything like that.
What's their favorite one in Kenya?
Favorite like restaurant?
Fast food.
KFC.
Okay.
KFC, yeah. That's what I've had people like bragging about.
Do they just like not have other fried chicken restaurants?
It's not. It's sometimes it's not like they have fried chicken restaurant. It's like we do have like fried chicken, but KFC, I think, my personal opinion, again, this is because I'm not like, I don't want to get into something, but but like in my personal opinion, I feel as though since KFC is like mostly like a Western culture thing, so like mostly came out of like the US, and it's like down there, so people will, and like since it came out of the US and it went like all over, like distributed around countries in the world and got to Kenya, so like mostly like a fried chicken, mostly you will find it in any restaurant basically. But
KFC is this
standard is like
fried chicken.
One, and also like a fried, like the mostly like the fried chicken that you can find anywhere, it's less expensive than the KFC chicken, because it's American, so most people will pay more money to have it, to try it out and have it. And that's why
America
it will
is
be
like the main initiator of pop culture in the world, I believe. So there's a lot of countries that are like interested in the pop culture in America. They like look to that for like that's popular.
So it's like sort of an idealization per se. So people will like look up like and America. See whatever, but true. So
but you took it a step further than a lot of them, and then you're like, I'm gonna move to America.
I know, right? I was excited to move here. Like I was. I mean, I love like the place that we lived in, but then it got so boring, and
sure. Yeah, America's pretty nice.
And most importantly was like after like, so my dad had passed away and my mom was looking for like a new place to start and stuff like that. And so what we did was she began looking around the world, and thankfully we have like a couple relatives that we know here. So she was like, okay, this is America and stuff like that, so we're gonna go to America. And my thing was like, I was so excited because I thank God that everything worked out, because so backstory, here's like something. So in my neighborhood, most kids, when they got to 6th grade, their parents will ship them to boarding school. And boarding school in Kenya, it's way worse than boarding school here.
Okay.
Because here boarding school is like pretty much a day school, but you like sleep in boarding school and like walk around boarding school. But over there, you had corporal punishments. So the teachers will like whoop you so bad or something like that. Like I remember my first time joining a boarding school, because again, this was like an experiment. So like a little of a backstory. It's so most parents will ship their kids to boarding school. So the only time you'll get to meet the kids is like after school closings, then like during the holidays and stuff. And after school closes, then they will come back home. So after like every one of the kids had been shipped out to boarding school, and it wasn't like my age mates, and it was only like younger kids, I also like told my mom that, hey, I wanna go to boarding school too. But then my mom and my brother were like cautioning me, like, yeah, you don't wanna go there. And I'm like, psh, you guys don't know what you're talking about, because everybody like it wasn't like I can handle it, but it was basically like I thought they were lying to me, basically, because I'm like, well, if everybody is going to boarding school, then why are you keeping me from going to boarding school?
Yeah.
And it turned out that they were right, and I was wrong completely, because of the fact that, like, my first day after I got like registered in boarding school and all of that, there was this test that people had taken, and so they were being given back the test results. And one of the things I realized was, it was math test basically.
Okay.
And so the teacher said everybody to stand up in the whole classroom, and so people stood up, and I had no idea people were taking a test. So he was like, yeah, since you're the new one, like, have a seat or whatever. I'm not gonna do anything for you. But then, like, I remember specifically, like, there was this girl so the teacher, in the beginning of the classroom, the teacher said, count how many wrongs you have and multiply it by 10, and that's how many like strokes of canes you get.
Strokes of what?
Like the floggings you get, basically.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I remember this there was this like, the one that I remember like vividly, there was this like girl in our, like, my classmate. She had 6 wrongs, so she multiplied by 10. And she got 60 floggings on her hand. And
wow.
At that point, I started reconsidering. I'm like, maybe, but then my mom was like, yeah, you say it. So like I did, and like
so you were able to get out of there.
So like
were you just there to like see it?
No, I did go to school over there. So like,
so you went to the boarding school.
Yeah, I did go to boarding school. Like, yeah,
how long were you there?
How long was I there?
In the boarding school.
For like 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah, but thankfully
do you have to get floggings?
You got floggings for things that you did not like do. Mostly it was like an everyday thing. So like most teachers will like give you floggings. So like that's not only like in boarding school, but in primary school too. So like it's most teachers in Kenya and also like African countries, but like, yeah, so most teachers will give you like floggings basically. If you like disobey them or something like that. Yeah, or like different punishments too. So,
or sometimes for them, like if you do bad on a math test. Yeah, wow.
So it depends, cause I do.
That's
so
a lot. It's like 65.
I know. Somebody, I think, I'm not sure, but like somebody ended up having even more because it was like 80 things. So it was a lot in the lot. So, yeah. So then, like,
was
fast
it
forward,
manageable being in the boarding school? Were you like, this is okay? Or
like, I mean, the boarding school was the most craziest aspect. So, like, an example, if you differentiate like the boarding school here and in Kenya, so like a boarding school, I've gone to a boarding school here, like, but I did not go to a boarding school where
they're not doing it right. Probably they're not strict enough. Yeah.
Oh man, that was like something I came and like I learned because of freedom, whatever. But like, so boarding school, it's like you choose to go to it or you don't. Most parents will ship their kids after they get to 6th grade. They'll be like, you're going to boarding school. But
why did you want to go to boarding school?
Because everybody else went to boarding school.
What was the other education option?
You went to primary school.
And so that just like wasn't as cool?
I mean, it wasn't as cool. It was just like, I wanted to see what everybody who went to boarding school, like what the hassle was, what like, why was everybody shipped off to boarding school?
Boarding school sounds cooler to me.
But it was a mandatory. But when you get to high school, it was a mandatory that you go to boarding school. So you couldn't come home. Like it was most schools you will go to boarding school, but there were other like mostly public schools. You will like go to school and then come back home, so it will be like a day school. But for most boarding schools, both private and public boarding schools, you would typically have to sleep inside in the school, or whatever. So that one wasn't like, that one was like, for most, you'll go to a boarding school once you get to high school. So yeah.
It's interesting.
But if you're fresh, but since I went when I was like in 7th grade, I got there and I learned a lot like in boarding school. And that's why like when my mom had finally like told me like we're going to the US, so like at that time we had our papers being, like our visas being approved. We had gone and taken up passport photos and stuff like that. And then my mom was like, yeah, we're going to America. And so one thing about like Kenyan schools is, so we have this thing called tuition, basically, where after school closes, some classes will have to go for tuition, which basically will mean extra lessons for like 2 weeks. So it's basically like a summer school, but you don't fail. You're required. It's like a mandatory that you go to like that tuition. So you'll go for 2 weeks. So my mom gave my brother and I. So it was the 2 weeks. We either go to that tuition or we go to my grandmother's place. I was like, the grandmother's place sounds better than school. So we did. I went, and because I knew like. And this was the time that we were about to come to the US, because I knew either way, if we come back, we're going to have to do a lot of work. Because we decided, but man, I put my faith. I was like, we got to go to grandma because I'm tired of school. So we did. So she took us to like our grandma's place. We spent like the whole 2 weeks over there. And then once we came back, everything was approved. So all we just had to do is just come back and collect our belongings and go out. So
nice.
And which was the most amazing thing ever. People were excited. I don't know, but I mean, I don't know. I cannot tell you about other people who if they were or not. But for me, I knew I was like, I'm done. And so when we came here, So when we came here, I guess we were. I guess I went to, like, my mom signed us up to to a school in Mount Vernon. And she said you can either go to day school or you can go to boarding school. And with that experience of like the boarding school, I was like, there is no way again. But then I came and I learned, oh, this is totally different. Like, you have to wake up, you just wake up on your own terms, and there's no.
What was like boarding school that she was describing it? Was it like day school was like public school? The way she was.
It was mostly like day school and boarding school. So you can either choose an option of like going and coming home, or you can choose an option of staying in school.
Oh, okay.
But due to my experience, I was like, I am not about to go to another boarding school again. So, but then after 2 days, I was like, maybe boarding school isn't such a bad thing. So I chose to go to like that day school, and it was the most magical experience ever. Like the most beautiful, because again, you did not have to worry. But so it took me 2 years to adjust to like an American school show. So.
Well, we're ready to wrap things up, I guess.
Sweet.
Thanks for coming by. Hey, thanks for sharing all of that.
Thanks for having me.
Good to see you.
Hey, good seeing you too, my dude.
Yeah. All right. Signing out.